Hello, beautiful shining souls. My name is Jostine, intuitive life guide from the Philippines. Welcome back to my channel. So, for today, it's Saturday Showcase. Woo! Okay, so something that you may not know about me is that last year I attended a level 1 improv class, and I haven't really played with that side of me outside of our improv class. And so I thought, hey, why not showcase it today? So a little background. Why did I join an improv class? And this is a big question coming from me because, as you may have already guessed, and I think I've already mentioned this, I am more on the introverted side. So a little caveat, introvertedness, extrovertedness, that's a spectrum. You can all slide through that spectrum. But I'm leaning, and I actually prefer more to be on that introverted side. And energy wise, which is what really it is about, I really get recharged when I'm by myself. Being in a crowded place really drains me. But if it's with the right group of people, having life energy plus conversations, then of course that also helps in bringing up my energy. But again, I need to go into hermit mode, especially if I've been like out and about, so that I can fully recharge my battery. So anyway, going back to the improv class, so that's one thing. I'm more in the introvert side. And then next is that I've shared how I used to not be good in speaking, using my speaking voice. And one of the blocks that I have before is that I'm not very good with thinking on my feet, with being spontaneous, with basically what we do in improv, right? Like just saying whatever comes to mind. And when I was in the US, one of my teachers, she mentioned how improvisation is actually very helpful when you really want to be intentional in growing yourself. It's a personal growth tool for people. It's not just about performing. It's not just about being funny on stage. That's what we usually know of what improvisation is. But really, it's about being in the present moment, not thinking about what you're going to say, but really being in the present moment, being with the person that you are with, so that you can respond accordingly, right? It also opens you up to collaboration if you're doing a scene with a partner or with other people. And again, it access and unlocks your creativity, because we're all creative people. We all have access to creative energy because we are co-creators in this universe, right? It's not just for the chosen few. And so those are just some of the things. Oh, and one more thing, like if you make a mistake in improv, it's perfect. It's okay. You make whatever happened, you use it in the scene, and then you just ride with it. And isn't that freeing? I mean, we've been so in our heads in our daily lives, thinking of what we should be doing, what we could have done better, and all that. And by being in that space of, you know what, I made a mistake, great, how can I use this to improve the scene, how can I use this in my scene? That's amazing, right? And so before I go into introducing the activity for today, if you really are serious in, you know, being more intentional with your personal growth, I would suggest, I highly suggest attending an improvisation class. Even if it's just level 1, like, you will discover a lot about yourself and you will really grow so much. If you are in the Philippines, although, well, they also have online classes, so I think they're open globally, because during my class, we have someone from China and from Canada who joined our class. So and wherever you are in the world, if you're interested, I highly suggest Third World Improv. I will be linking their Facebook page in the description if you want to check them out. I'm not sure when they are offering, but I think they're about to start another batch of improv classes. So check it out and see how it feels in your body if you're feeling pulled to it. And with that, our showcase for today is the Self-Love Elevated book. Alright. And to add an element of improvisation, so I thought I'd open to a random page, and then I will read the, since today is June 17, 2023, let's read 3 paragraphs, and then so I'll start with June, so 6, and then 17, and then 23. So I will be reading a paragraph, and then I will just share whatever comes up, you know, after reading, as I'm reading and after reading. Okay, so I'm not sure what will happen. Okay, so for the first one, random. Okay. Alright. So this page, alright. So it's great. It's from Jennifer Trainer's chapter. So a little trivia, Jennifer Trainer started out as our editor for the book. She was also an author before, part of another compilation book. And so Heather invited her to be a part of Self-Love Elevated as well. And she said yes. And we are blessed with her story. All right. So the title of her chapter is How Losing My Job Was a Blessing by Jennifer Trainer. So we'll start with 6. So I'll read the 6th paragraph. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Days turned into weeks, which then turned into months. I sent out more job applications than I could count and was having no luck with each passing day of not getting any calls or interviews. I became more and more defeated, and my depression was getting worse. I found myself crying a lot and constantly beating myself up. Stupid, loser, worthless, not good enough. This was all part of my internal dialogue and had been for many years. I had a lot of practice at being my personal punching bag because I had lived with low self-esteem for most of my life. Wow. I feel like it's not just the spirit of improv coming in, but I feel like spirit is also doing its work. But I feel like spirit is also touching this showcase because this paragraph really hit me. if you don't know my story yet, I can totally relate, because growing up, the words that she used, to describe herself, stupid, loser, worthless, not good enough, those were also the script running inside my head growing up. And and this is why one of the things that really gets to me is whenever I hear people telling themselves, putting themselves down with these words. And it's so interesting because we grew up, you know how sometimes it feels like we're just, oh, that's just an immediate script, like if we make a mistake, oh, so stupid. Like it's just, we don't even realize the power of the words that we're using to describe ourselves. It may seem like we're just throwing away these words. It's just like a common word, But I bet that if you really take the time to be still and be with yourself, with your inner self, with your inner child, and let them speak to you about how the words you're using to describe yourself feels, gosh. It's hurtful. Hurtful is not even like an encompassing word to really capture the effect of these words. Because the words that we tell about ourselves, the labels we put up on ourselves, it gets embodied. And that's why people have low self-esteem, are not confident with themselves, even though they have already reached a certain, career, professional growth, even though they have already accumulated lots of wealth, they have a large connection, even though they have already, people are looking to them because they are a role model, but something inside of them doesn't even believe in themselves. It's because of this. So I think it's an invitation for us to really ask yourself, how are you describing yourself? What are the labels that you're putting or using for yourself? Because these become our identity. We believe in those words subconsciously, unconsciously, and we take on those identities. So even if we have all these external validations, if deep inside you yourself do not believe them, But the good news is that you can take that power back. You can shift the labels that you use for yourself. You can shift how you talk to yourself. Okay, next. Alright, so 128. Oh, this is my chapter. I promise you, I didn't plan for this. This is from my chapter, so Free from Darkness at Last by Jostine. Alright, so 17. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, it's just one line. So, what changed? I feel like I don't need to elaborate on that. Well, okay, let's elaborate on that. So, what changed? It's so open to interpretation. But what's coming up for me now is that, if there's something constant in this world, it's change and death and birth. And so, we all go through changes, right? We all go through changes. Life is all about change. But the thing is that not everyone is willing to go through intentional changes, right? But I believe that when you become intentional in changing yourself, we are able to unlock our potential. And it takes a certain kind of courage to go through unintentional change, because you're leaving behind what you've always known. You're leaving behind what you're comfortable with, what you're certain. And there was a time in my life, like from my experience, right? When I was in my dark space, when I was in my dark stage, when I was going through my rock bottom, it was painful, but it's a familiar kind of pain. I know what to expect of myself. And I've formed these stories about the world, about life, about how other people perceive me. Is it true? Maybe yes, maybe no. Most likely no. Because I was painting everyone and myself on a negative light. And so when I decided to change, to give myself a fighting chance, it was difficult in the beginning because I have no idea how things will go. There's this fear of the unknown. More because I don't know if I can make it. Like, it's comfortable to be in that space of I'm hurting myself. I don't expect anything of myself. And I've given myself a deadline. I don't have to do anything. But now that I gave myself a fighting chance, gosh, how long do I still have to do this? How long do I still have to face the world, to try again, will this even be a fruitful endeavor? Or will it prove to me that I really don't have what it takes? So it was such a long battle between my old self and my new self. I was stuck in that space of battling with myself. So what changed for me now? There's still parts of me that are not, they're still questioning, and there's still doubt, there's still fear, there's still worry and all that. And I don't deny them. I don't tell them to shut up. I don't tell them to, you know what? You're not accepted here. Go away. You know, I've learned how to embrace my whole self. You know, embracing the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, the light, the darkness, and everything in between. Because I really believe that, you know, all parts of ourselves they just want the best for us. Even the ones who are seemingly sabotaging us. But if we really look at it, like, why are they doing this? They want to keep us safe. They want to protect us. That's the only way that they know how to express their love. And so we honor where they are coming from. We acknowledge, I know you're scared, I know you want to protect us, but we can do this. We can do this. And so now, when I'm thinking about the process of changing, every single day, going through that change, there are still times that I do get tired. It gets tiring going through that highs and lows. But again, like, it's become easier in a way because I already know that this is just part of the journey. I already know that all parts of me just wants to go back to being whole. We're already whole, but because of how we have been conditioned, right? We have rejected and denied these different parts of ourselves. And these different parts of ourselves that we have denied and rejected, they are crying out to be recognized, to be loved, to be accepted for who they are. So we bring them back. I don't need to change them, but the change happens in a holistic level. Because as I integrate these parts of myself, I get to discover, another layer of me. I get to discover another part of me, and I get to be all of me. No one part is controlling and sabotaging. We're all working together somehow, even though there's like conflicting voices inside my head. But because we know that we're aiming for one thing, we're aligned with that. We're aligned with our soul work and mission. We're aligned with God's will. We're aligned with wanting to serve the highest good. And that's what keeps us working together. And I'm just thinking, like, if we apply this in a collective level, right, in the world, then somehow we can find a solution to whatever is happening in this world. You know, even though we have different viewpoints, but if we can find a common ground, if we can all agree that this is, like, we're working together for the highest good of all, and we all agree that we're co-creating a better and brighter world for us and the generations to come, like, I'm getting the good kind of chills right now. Like, I still don't know exactly how that will happen, but I'm just getting the chills because I feel like, it's possible, and it has already happened in some alternate reality. Just need to shift into that timeline and bring that reality here now. But again, it's not just an individual work, it has to be the collective, and that's why I'm doing this. And I hope that this is activating something in you. So yeah, that's what changed. And with that, here is the last reading for the day. Let's go to it's the end. Okay, so page 182, 183, let's see whose story is this. Alright, it's from, Melinda. Right, okay, so the title of her chapter is Beautifully Broken by Melinda Pokolinsky. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sorry, Melinda, if I'm not. Alright. So, Melinda Pokolinsky. Alright. So, where are we? 23. 23. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, so the page that we're in is towards like the end of her chapter, so we won't be reading from her chapter, but hey. Let's count again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Alright. So, I'm now on page 193, and this chapter is by Rina Yost. Alright. And the title of her chapter is Blessings, Faith, and Love by Rina Yost. Alright. Beautiful. Okay, so this is the chapter, or the paragraph rather. So this is the paragraph. A couple of years later, I lost my younger brother. This was one of the most terrible moments in my life. Nothing made sense. I was in shock and experienced terrible pain, anger, disbelief, and so many different emotions that I still can't even explain. During that time, I still had my faith, despite the sadness and everything else I was experiencing. I felt I understood life ending in a different way than I would have before because of all those spiritual teachings I had. It didn't make it easier. I still had to feel all the emotions, but it gave me a sense of understanding and knowing that my brother is always with me. I also remembered that everything is temporary, not the loss is real, and my life would never be the same. But the extreme pain and sadness that we call grief, that is always changing. Can I just say that life is really synchronistic, and you cannot really go wrong if you surrender to God's timing, to God's plan, to God's will, to our lives unfolding. I mean, I started this week receiving the news from my grandma passing away, and that inspired the teaching Thursday about releasing emotions, holding space for what we are feeling, but also allowing it to pass through us. And now I just received this inspiration to play with reading paragraphs from our book, and we are ending our book reading with a chapter about Rina losing her younger brother and how she experienced that. Hui. I'm always blown away when this happens. It's just echoing. Life is echoing the lessons that we have learned, and really, maybe someone needed to hear this, if you lost someone in your life today or recently, if you lost someone in your life recently and you're having difficulty in processing the grief, and you're questioning why has to happen. Could be an invitation for you to allow yourself to feel the grief, be in that space, because as Rini said, the loss is real and her life would never be the same. That is real. And when that is real, whatever we are feeling, of course, that will really hit us deeply, right? But she also said that the extreme pain and sadness, the grief, it may not go away, but it will change. Our ability to hold this extreme pain, this extreme sadness, this grief will change as we are changing, as we change, as we understand that these things I just mentioned earlier, just remembered, that the only constant in this world is change, death, and birth. Death is a part of life, and again, it's understanding that it's not even understanding, because understanding is just really experiencing whatever arises in us and allowing ourselves to feel that, to be in that space of receiving the gifts of the loss. Somehow that will shift to seeing the gift of the person in our lives, and we celebrate them. We celebrate them by living our lives. We celebrate by remembering their presence in our lives and really thinking about, how they have changed us. Okay, to end, so since we are in the spirit of improvisation, I want to offer this Reiki blessing to you. If you're open to receive, just say, I receive this good energies coming my way for my highest good. Alright. Place your right hand on your chest area, heart center, and then place your left hand on your sacral, about 2 inches below your navel, as if you are holding yourself tenderly, lovingly. Let's take a deep breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Last one, breathing in and breathing out. Just imagine yourself holding your inner child, or maybe it is a part of you that is hurting right now. Just imagine yourself holding them. And imagine that as you are holding them, you are giving them love, acceptance, allowing them to be as they are in whatever space they are in right now. Witnessing them, holding them in this space, allowing them to be as they are, and loving them anyway, loving them as they are. Imagine yourself giving this love through your hands to your heart center. You may be feeling some kind of heat from your hands, or maybe a tingling in your chest area, the same way that your sacral, your womb area is receiving this love, this warmth, this care. Reiki is flowing through you now as you are open to receive it. Imagine yourself, your inner child, or the one that was hurting. Imagine them smiling at you now and just letting you know how grateful they are for receiving them, for witnessing them, for holding them, and for loving them as they are. And this creates a feedback loop because it is you who is loved, who is witnessed, who is held by you. You can do this anytime that you need to be witnessed. You do not need to seek it from outside yourself. You do not need to seek it from other people. You can give this love, this unconditional love to yourself. With God's grace, with God's healing, with God's mercy and loving light, you are enough. You are loved as you are. There is nothing that you need to do to receive this love. There is nothing that you need to change in yourself. Because whatever change and transformation you're going through right now, it is a remembering and a going back to who you truly are. It is you all along. This changes and transformation that you're feeling in your life right now, it's your soul calling you back to your whole self, so that you can be fully expressed in this lifetime. You are enough as you are. You are loved as you are. Just allowing those words to settle in your body. Feel how you're responding to it. Breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, Last one, breathing in and breathing out. Whenever you are ready, you may open your eyes slowly and gently. Stay. I feel complete. And that's it for Saturday Showcase. If you're still here watching, thank you so much. Yeah, this is a very special, I always say that. But this is a really special Saturday Showcase. Yeah, that's improvisation, the spirit of improvisation coming in. Right. By the way, just to end, before I say goodbye again, I just want to invite you, if you haven't bought your copy yet, highly recommend that you get a copy of Self-Love Elevated. If you're living in the Philippines, you may get a physical copy of the book. It's way more budget friendly compared when you order it from Amazon. But I have limited copies, so if you want to get a copy, the link is in the description. Otherwise, if you're living outside of the Philippines, or if you want to get an ebook instead, we are on Amazon, so you can order from there. Anything else? Yeah, so that's it. Enjoy the rest of your weekend if you're watching this on a weekend. I'll see you on Monday for Monday Musings. Thank you so much. Peace, love, and light.